For me, I see fitness business so similar, and also I think it's the way the human brain works is like feedback loops. So if you look at like most people start going to the gym, they fucking hate going to the gym, and then you start to see progress. You start to quite like it, and then when you get good at something, you start to like it more, and then you get better. And it's the same thing with business. It's like you put one post and like no one cares, and then you do 10 posts and maybe one gets 10,000 views. And you're like, oh, this is really fun, and then you want to make another one. So it's like, I think people need to have that ability to keep going to start getting like positive feedback loops.
100%.
And then you start to enjoy the process, and then you become good.
100%. I 100% agree with that. I actually just saw a reel on that, and it was like, you know, a lot of people aren't unmotivated. It's just they're not winning yet, right? But once you start winning and you start seeing that success, then that motivation goes way up. But you just have to outlast that point of not winning and not seeing it right away. And that's where faith comes in, right? You got to have faith that, you know, God has that plan for you. You trust it. You trust in your systems, and you just keep going. And eventually, like you said, the feedback loop, you start winning, and then, you know, upwards and onwards you go. I
think that's winning is addictive. And I think if you surround yourself with winners, all you see is winning, and you start to see what's kind of possible. And I think something like PSI, positive self-image, or positive self-identity. The reason a lot of people struggle is they have a bad internal identity of themselves. Like, 100%. I can't do this, I'm bad at X, Y, Z. And they're kind of labeling themselves, so they don't even start, which is why they've failed before they even begin, because subconsciously they've given up before they begin.
It's the same thing with the gym, right? And training, it's like the biggest shift that people will make is when they when it comes to working out, eating good, sleeping well, these type of things, is when they make it their identity, right? Just like I wake up every morning and I brush my teeth. That's part of my identity, is what I do, right? Same thing with training. I'm Zach. I wake up every morning, I brush my teeth, and I train. And then you start adding things. Okay, I'm Zach. I brush my teeth, and I train, and I eat good. And then you just keep building off that. But it has to become your identity, because motivation goes like this. It's up and down. But when it's your identity.
If you're a coach, consultant, a creator, and you want to know how to grow your coaching business, and you're stuck in terms of you have leads, you have traffic, and you have eyeballs, but you think you're not booking enough calls, this is specifically because you have a systems problem and you do not know what problem you actually need to fix. This is exactly why we built Lead Wizard, which is a software which helps coaches increase their call booking statistically by over 30%. If you want more information in terms of how you can install this into your business in less than 24 hours to see what is broken so you can scale, hit the link below.
That's when the consistency happens. It's just who you are. You don't know anything else. And, you know, with the people that I work with, and I'm very fortunate to work with people that are very high performers, these type of things are non-negotiable. It's just they're part of their identity. It's what they do. Whether they feel like it or they don't, it's what they do. I always say it's mode over mood. No matter what mood you're in, it's about tapping into that mode of like, no, this is what I do. I execute, no matter if I'm feeling sad, happy, whatever the case may be, I tap into this mode and this is what I do. You know, for example, like working out, it's like, this is what I do. I'm here, I'm in the gym. This is what I do.
For me as well, I personally, I think, and a lot of people relate to this, is the working out as an escape from all the other bullshit. So like if you're training really hard, you're not thinking about all the other problems you have. You're like, I'm really fucking tired, or this is really heavy, or whatever. You're like probably that as present as you can be in that kind of, at that time. So I think for me, that's something that I look forward to and enjoy, but also becomes addictive. So then it's harder to not train than it is to actually train at that point. Which I think is then a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, exactly. I always tell my clients, do it as I say, not as I do. Because, you know, I'm like, you need to take a rest day. And I'm like sneaking a run or something like that. I'm not always getting my rest days in.
But that's because you have a competitive mentality. Do you think that's from your background in terms of from sports?
Yeah, 100%. I'm a firm believer, especially for men in general. I believe the moment you stop competing is the moment you slowly start dying. Why do
you think that is?
I think we're just meant to compete. I think competition breeds success. And a lot of people run from competition, right? Because it's a bit uncomfortable. But growing up in sports and playing, you know, at a high level, every single day you stepped out on the field, it was competition. You know what I mean? You're competing for that spot day in, day out. And you're around other people that are very, very hungry for that spot, right? You got to understand your teammates are coming from all different walks of life, right? Some people are coming from places that they didn't know when their next meal was going to come. This is the only way out. So when you're competing with people like that, if you don't bring it, you're going to get eaten up. Right? And I went to school in the South where people are, you know, really, really about that life and didn't come from the best spots. So if you didn't have that competitiveness day in, day out, your spot would get taken. And I saw it so often.
Where in the South are you from?
The school was in Kentucky,
okay.
Right? But they, you know, when they recruit from Georgia, Florida, Louisiana, you know, which made it hard because I was from Cali. And so when you come from Cali, you go to the South, they hate on it a little bit. They think you're soft because you're from the West Coast by the beach and stuff like that. So I had to be ultra competitive, you know? And so, that's always been in me. You know, I've had to tame it down in real life, right? Because when you're amongst, you know, in football and you're in the locker room and everything, it's the highest level of competition. Right? So real life, you have to, I would say, just internalize it a bit more, right? Not be so, verbal and everything with it and not make it so obvious. It's more just a competition within rather than when you're out on the field and stuff. It's like, exerting your dominance, you know?
Why do you think competition is almost frowned upon quite a lot in society now?
You know, I think about that. I think about that. Honestly, I think people are so concerned on how people view them, their perception, right? I think people are either get embarrassed or are really worried about how they're going to look. And it's almost like one of those things, you know, back in the day, if like you race somebody or something and then the person like loses and it's like, oh, I wasn't even trying. It's kind of like one of those things, you know, like if I don't try, I won't feel that feeling of like hurt or embarrassment or whatever the case may be. Because when you compete and let's say you don't win, that feeling's not great, right? It sucks to lose. But that's the medicine to take you to that next level. But a lot of people don't like to feel that feeling. They rather just avoid it or be like, oh, I'm not a competitive type person. It's like, no, you're just really scared of that feeling of like failure or losing that temporarily. But I always say you don't lose, you learn. You either win or you learn, period. Right? There's no losing in my head. I either win or I learn in any type of competition. But I think people just get caught up in not wanting to experience that feeling of temporary defeat.
Now, if you enjoyed this clip and you're a coach, creator, or a business owner and you want help in terms of how to scale your business using ads, AI, content, marketing, a lot of things we talk about on the show, then hit the link at the top line of our description in the YouTube video. You can book on a call with us and we'll walk through the whole process, audit your business, and show you where there's huge, huge opportunities for you to scale.